Welcome back to Iron Archery Outdoors, guys. We got something cool. I'm about to show you what it is. So obviously, there are needs and there are not needs when it comes to tuning bows, right? So, that also all depends on how you look at it. But, if you're going to do stuff at a certain level, such as tuning for, I'm going to say friends and family, even at that point, but most importantly for other people that you potentially don't know at all, right? Well, you got to be able to offer a certain level of stuff that maybe somebody else don't. And you simply darn right got to have the stuff to do it. So, I'm going to walk you through what's in the box and why I got it. Okay? So, all new to this year. Well, as far as I'm aware of, anyway. But, anyway, okay, before I get into this, I want you all to know everything you see in the videos, everything I talk about, everything I go through, everything you see here behind me, all this, whatever, I have no affiliation with any company at all. I'm going to get that off the bat. Zero affiliation. So everything that I have has been paid for by myself, or family members that decide they want to buy me something for a birthday or Christmas or something like that. But it's no affiliation, nothing's given out, right? Is 99% from my pockets, okay? Also, if you like some of the stuff I'm talking about, or you want to know more, or you're interested in how I do things, hit the subscribe button, okay? I'm not in this to get paid for it, okay? I'm going to get that off the bat. I'm not in this to get paid for it, okay? I'm in this partially because A, there is way too much crap going through the archery culture, especially on social media, that is false, okay? And I'm not the only one that believes in that. Second of all, I want to provide information that A, is true, B, that is legitimate, that you can actually use, that is coming from somebody that's not affiliated or getting discounts with other people, that is influencing how they look at a product, okay? So, I'm just trying to spread very useful stuff that I have found through my own experiences, through my own, tribulations and trials, and how they have affected me and what I learned from them. Okay? Mind you, some of the new stuff I get, it may show. I may have issues with it, right? But I do know at the time I'm getting stuff, I do my research. I do my thorough research, and I talk to many people about them. And 99% of the time, if I'm going to choose something, I get very positive feedback toward that thing. And the reasons of why I should be spending my money and my time on those things, okay? So get that out of the way. So, what's in the box? Probably think, what's this, okay? This is the Last Chance Drawboard 2.0. The upgrades to it. I don't remember the original drawboard or how the main part was that held the bow, but I'll get into this a little bit more, and it is sweet, okay? But I do know the upgrades to the actual winch itself. The old winch had a cable in here with a pulley, so you had a two-part line, okay? Now they went to the old strap version, which is really cool. I like straps, obviously, because A, they don't bind up, which is not really binding issues on the other thing too, but straps are generally stronger. And the other thing with straps too is they're more noticeable to wear than a cord is, because most of the time when a cord is going to break, the internals generally start to break sooner, except cords that have the lays, or the ropes that have lays that are completely visible. But certain cords, such as like paracord, stuff like that, where there is lays on the inside of the layer on the outside, you're not going to see them stretching or breaking, okay? Mind you. But the straps are very strong. So if you're always kind of wondering, what's the breaking strength on these compared to the old one? I don't know what the old one was, but for this one, the working load limit is 500 pounds. If you're going to be putting 500 pounds on this, you are drawing something back that you definitely should not be drawing back with. Okay, but there's always a 3-to-1 safety workload on things like this. So the breaking limit of a strap is a 1-inch strap, 1,500 pounds. Okay, don't use it to pick up stuff that you shouldn't be picking up with. Okay, you bought it to use for your bows. Okay, but they upgraded the hook. The other one had a weird kind of hook on it. This is looks like a machined piece, and it's definitely not aluminum, so it's steel. And they added in a piece of rope here for your safety loop. You go around your string. You hook this into your loop if there's a loop on the bow. But this looks like 332 am steel rope is what it looks like. It's kind of got a smooth coating to it. I used 1/8 inch am steel for my ropes on my climbing sticks. And if you don't know or are too familiar with am steel is a specially designed cord, if you were to say, that has a ridiculous breaking strength. Like, if I remember right, like an 1/8 inch am steel had a breaking strength of like 1,600 pounds. It was really high. And actually, if you look at a lot of the ropes that you see on some of the synthetic winches now, such as like, especially like your higher end winches, some of those are am steel ropes, like, you know, 3/16 rope, 1/4 inch rope. I mean, they have a like 4,000 or 5,000 pound breaking strength. So they use on like ATVs, UTVs, stuff like that. Okay, but anyway, looks like an am steel rope, which is really awesome. I really like that. Am steel is very abrasion resistant and very strong. So very nice added feature. Hats off to Last Chance on that. If it's am steel, but I'm pretty sure it is. Okay. The actual part you put your bow in, really cool upgrade. So the reason behind this, instead of just being a solid piece put behind your grip, you can set this so the pressure is in your grip and your knocking point is higher than your grip, rather than when you put it in an original one, it's going to kind of level itself out, okay, where it's not adding the kind of random torque that a shooter's hand is going to have. Okay, is this going to be mimicked perfectly to that? No, but what is the importance of it? You can get timing closer when a bow is at full draw, closest to how it is going to be sitting when it's drawn back. Okay, so obviously, look at your hand, or when you're watching somebody shoot, right? When they're drawn back, like here, where you hold the bow and where your arrow is in line with your face, your arrow is lower or is higher than where the bow is touching. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So going back to this is you can adjust the height of here. You have a real cool little deal here where you can put your bow in here, and that's on a thread where you can actually, that's really cool. So you can actually put your bow in here. So this is where the throat of your grip is going to sit, and then you can turn this little clamp in here, and you can actually clamp your bow in here. So that kind of holds it a little better there. And then you wrap this around the front, and then you just put it in nice and tight, slide it back over like that. Hold your bow in there. Really awesome. Really good idea. If something bad goes wrong, it's not coming off of here. That is super cool. Great idea. So hats off to them as well on that. Awesome idea. Big improvisation. It's probably not even the right word for that, but improvement. Big improvement to the old system. So very well. Very well. But the other thing I got to accommodate with the draw board, which I don't see many shops have these, which I'm kind of surprised why not, okay? But in my opinion, this is very important. That's why I bought it, okay? Is, you're wondering what the heck are these things for, right? They look like little black paint rollers. No, don't be doing that with them, okay? This is the limb lock kit. So your limb lock kit, these, take this off of here, what this does is when your bow is in the press, and slide this in here. So, I'll grab a bowl here quick. So when your bow is in the press, okay, let's see if I can kind of mimic this as good as I can. Or I could just put it on the press, right? But anyway, see if I can get the hang on here. So these are the upgraded Limlock kit fingers. I'll kind of dive in that a little bit. What's the importance of these? Why should I upgrade to these, right? Okay, so see if we can get one to sit on here. Okay, cool. So you got your fingers on your press, right? This bolts underneath your fingers onto your rail of your press, and this sits down here. So what is the importance of that? Well, when you're backing the press in and out, okay, if something were to happen and these come off, or the bow wants to come out of the bottom of the press, when you loosen it up, you don't realize you have it that loose, and also you drop it and you're grabbing it really quick. That's what these are for. Okay, when you come out of the press, you keep it below. You don't want them way up here, obviously. It's not going to end up there anyway because you won't be able to get that high. But they'll sit down here. So there's always something underneath the limb. Okay, because obviously the limbs, if something were to happen, they're going to come out. Okay, this is underneath it to prevent the bow from falling out of the press. To me, it's a no-brainer, right? An absolute no-brainer. You have somebody else's bow in your hands, in your liability, in a press. If something goes wrong out of your fault, and that thing hits the ground or comes out of the press, hits the ground, flies all over the place, breaks a limb, cam, whatever, right? Guess who's paying for it? You are, right? So, going back to these, what these are designed for, you can obviously use these on many other things, but these are designed for a lot of the newer bows where they have a passed parallel limb. My Envision's probably a little closer than this one. But so my Envision, bear with me here. So on my Envision, where you can see the limbs, right? They're just barely past parallel. But if you look at a lot of the newer bows, such as PSE, Expedition, Hoyt's getting there too. Matthews especially, they're way past parallel. But a lot of those newer bows are going to a farther past parallel limb. Okay, so what this does, it gives you a bigger shelf, and as these limbs are pressed in, you have a better surface area here to accommodate how that limb sits, or how the finger is holding the limb. Okay, and these pivot. The old ones do not. Okay, so as these are obviously in a fixated spot with your limb peg, or not your limb peg, but your pin on your press. So as your press goes out and in, these are going to pivot a little bit, and obviously they'll pivot a little bit, obviously, because you're changing the angle of the limb as you press it in. This is going to come in farther. Okay, on the old style, it didn't overlap the top of your limb as much, so this holds on out here a lot better. But it lets the head of this finger pivot and self-adjust as you are cranking in your press. So it's a very awesome design, and I'm very happy that somebody came up with that. And I'm very happy that Last Chance was the one to do it, honestly, because when you hear of a bow press, Last Chance is probably one of the first ones you hear about. Okay? So, obviously, I did get the upgraded spring and pin kit, the 3-inch spring and pin kit, which if you don't really know what that is totally for, we're going to spin you around and we're going to show you some stuff. Okay? Bear with me here. Kind of a mess out here. So, here you have the end of your press, okay? My other side's over here, obviously. When you crank it, yada, yada, yada. But, so what these do, this is the 2.5-inch pin kit. These come off. Then here, you have your spring steel. That's what keeps your tension on here, okay? So if you have a 3-inch pin kit, you need the 3-inch spring steel, okay? Because these are obviously going to be wider. These are 2.5. So some of the wide limbs, like Matthews, Hoyts, stuff like that, are gradually getting a wider limb stance. Okay, their limbs are farther apart. Okay, so what do these look like when they're in here? Okay, obviously you can just swap these right in and out. I can still use these on the 2.5-inch, like this. Okay, now these pivot as you're pressing the bow in and out, or as different limb pitches, they will come in and out. Okay, so you still have your adjustments back here for adjusting these in and out. What these are for, these little turn knobs, is when you're pressing a bow, and say you have a bow with your limbs or your cams are perfectly in line. Okay, it's timed good, or not timed good, but you have no cam lean, everything's nice and in line, and you put it in here, and you notice as you crank it down, your cam starts to turn when it's taking the pressure off the cables. It starts to turn. Then you can adjust. See if I can get one of these to move drastically. Okay, you see that this one going down? Okay. So if you notice one side of your cam is pushing in, that means one of these has more pressure than the other one. So you can adjust these in and out a little bit when they have pressure back, right? So obviously I'm pushing this one down and raising it back up. Okay. So you can adjust these so when you press it, your limbs are being pushed as an equal pressure, not adding your cam lean or giving more influence to your cam lean because it's pushing your axle out of square. Okay, so that's the importance of the knob. So then how these sit in here is this guy sits right here. Let me adjust this a little bit here quick. Try to lock this in here so you guys don't fall down. Okay. So this will sit directly under here. I'm going to flip this around just so I got the warning label on the outside where you can see it easier except with the on. Okay. And you're obviously going to set this roller dead center with the center of the little groove right here. There's a little metal piece. Okay, right here, the center that holds your pin. You're going to set that in the center there. Grab an Allen wrench here quick. Yeah, I'm going to take a guess at 532. That it is. And you just stick that on there like that. And that'll just sit right in here like this. Okay? Then obviously, however your bowl goes in there, you can adjust this in and out. So that'll hold it in there. Let me stick a bow in here quick, I'll show you. So this is an Elite Ember, my fiance's bow. Oh, that's gonna go way out. Wrong way. Bear with me here for a second. I gotta go out a little ways. Had the boys Mission Radic in here, and that thing is really short. So, down even more. Oh, almost there. Okay, there we go. Got it pretty close now anyway. So you get it in there, get a little pressure in there, that way it holds itself. Okay, then you loosen this up, and you simply slide that over. So this one lands right in where that silencer is, or that limb dampener, but whatever. So you just tighten that up. So you have it in here. Let me stick the other one on. Swing you over here. Stick the other one on here quick. Gotta take it apart. Rubber bands. Put that doohickey under there. back these screws out a little bit. And kind of lined it up a little bit. I'll move it though once I put the roller in there. Okay, put my roller. Now, sorry about that. I gotta take the bowl out of here to put that one in there. I might as well just put the other pegs on too while I'm at it right here. Okay. Grab the other fingers. Let's use it. Okay. Pop them off. And obviously, if you get these limbs, not these limbs, if you get these legs, you don't really have a reason to have the other ones. Obviously, keep them for backups, but you don't need them. Because you can do everything with these. Maybe there's some crazy thing. Excuse me. Maybe there's some crazy kind of situation out there where you might need the other ones over these ones, but probably not. Set that in there. Screw that in. Okay, grab the bowl. These obviously stick out quite a bit farther than the other ones, so I'm going to back it up even more. Adjust these in a little bit. And, okay. Okay. And then a little closer. Then you want to adjust these. Keep your cam like in the middle with that little spot. Adjust these so they get equal pressure. You know, they're landing completely on your limb and your limb ends. Something like that. Okay. Do that. Stick this guy back in this side. Keep a little up pressure on it. Then you just set her back in there. And I hope you can kind of see how those adjust to the limbs. I'm going to back this one out a little bit. Okay, okay. Then press that in a little bit. So I got pressure to hold it. This where she's holding right there. Okay. Then just loosen these up. You just bump those in. And those will adjust in and out as you apply pressure. So here's the nice thing with this. Okay. So if I'm going to loosen this up, show you over here. So if I'm going to loosen this up, okay, where's the bow? It's not going anywhere. That is the point of it, okay? You can take pressure off without it falling out the bottom, okay? That is the whole point of this. And obviously, when you completely come out of it, you're generally not going to come completely loose out of it. Obviously, if you're checking cam lean, you're just going to loosen it up so there's no pressure on it. Then you can look down it, make sure everything's good, right? Your bow's loose, but it's not falling out the bottom. You don't got to hold it and make sure it's not going to fall, right? Super, super awesome feature for your last chance press. And they make these in a last chance standard, which is for like your easy greens and I think it's like a pack and go. They're basically a portable easy green essentially, and your ultimate or deluxe. So you have a when you have select your options, you have a standard and an ultimate. If you have a last chance ultimate or deluxe model, you want the ultimate set of limbs. I don't really know the exact difference. I never really looked. Assuming something's different with it. Maybe there's a different pin size or something, but yeah. So going back to that, that is kind of the cap on everything. Oh, actually, we can kind of ride this out a little bit more. Hope you guys aren't getting too bored. I know we're getting a little bit long here, but we can add into this. How this drawboard works. So you pop out the little cap that's on the end of your tube here. Now, whatever way you want to draw your bow back, I'm right-handed. You can do it other way around too, but I'm right-handed, so I'm going to put it on the right side. That's what I like to do. This slides in here, just like this. It's got a little felt side on there too. They give you an extra felt one there if if you need a little bit, or no. Yeah, so there's an extra one for some reason, but that slides in there. Nice and snug. That's a nice fit. Okay. That's right there. So that's your draw, and it's got a built-in brake. So wherever you stop, you can let it in and out real nice. So you can go in. I would say about every click is probably right there. About 1/4 inch clicks. So when you're pulling it back, that's about where they come out. It's about a 1/4 inch. But when you come out on it, is where you can really micro adjust where your click is. Pretty much stop it every 16th, even less. But yeah, got a built-in stop, so that's super nice. So if it slips out of your hand, it ain't just gonna fly. That's awesome. Good idea. Hats off to Last Chance on that again. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And they do come with some little lag bolts. So if you're mounting it to something else, side it with 2x4 or the side of your bench or whatever you're doing. And that's the same thing right here. So that just caps off the other side. I might as well put the bow in here and show you guys a little bit of this. About this little cap I'm talking about. So this little cap on the end here, you just take a screwdriver in the end of it, pop her off. Obviously, maybe don't throw the caps away, because if you're going to decide to sell the rest or sell the press and get a different one, whatever. So then this goes in this way. This is going to be away from your winch. Slides all the way in there like that. So that's cool. Well, actually, there's a little adapter on there. So, not really sure what that's for. But take that off. Slide that in there. That way, you're drawing it back more in line there. And what we're going to do here, let me adjust you again. Not quite as fancy as some of these other guys. Okay. We'll go like that. Then I'll grab a bowl again. So what you're going to do is you're going to pop this thing off. You're going to set their bow up in there. Oh, so take that back. So I do want to slide that out a little bit. Well, I guess it's not a big deal. That's probably what that little spacer is for. But you kind of adjust that out. So I think I'd probably leave that. Okay, so it does have a max capacity of 100 pounds. So not many people out there shoot 100 pounds. So we're going to put this back in here. So obviously that'd be fun. So obviously this bow is not near, well actually I got to adjust that out anyway, so that doesn't matter. So what I'm adjusting is this spot where it's holding the bow. We're going down to try 9/64. Well, smaller than that, probably an 1/8 inch. So we're adjusting where that little holder is that holds the bow. We're going to slide that out. What does it move? Take it out even farther? Maybe it doesn't move. Oh, take that back. There's a screw on the back. That holds that piece on there in general, but there's a screw on the back over here. That's probably what I had originally. 5/32. Yep. Then you just slide that out a little bit. That way you get room for your rest. Okay. Now let's put the bow in there. Yeah, that's better. Then this little crank deal here on the side, help lock your bow in there a little bit on the grip. It's a cool little feature. Kind of like that. Clamp that in there. Is it needed? Not really. Put that in there. Holds your bow there nice. Okay, now I'm probably going to adjust that out a little bit more. We're going to go right there. Crank that down. Well, I think about it too, I'm going to take that other, I'm going to take this out. Put that back in there, sits in a little better. I like that. Okay, now just crank this out. Now when you're doing this, you hook into your loop a little bit more. Hook it to your loop like that. Okay, then this little lamb steel goes around your string back into the hook. Okay, probably go around twice, really. Quite a bit there. I'm going to go through the loop, soak up some of that extra rope. Then throw it back here like that. So as you're coming back, you know, double check it and make sure nothing's crazy. Drawing back, come back nice. Before we do this, actually, I'm gonna throw an arrow in here just in case something crazy happens. Preferably do this when it's not halfway drawn back. I'm gonna put that up there. Okay, so the other nice thing is you can obviously adjust where your rest timing is. You're coming back. The point of this is you can really see where your stops are hitting. So in this case, on this bow, right now, mind you, a lot of this has effect on where this is. So this is the missile thing, but basically as I can see it, the top cam is a fair amount faster than the bottom. So that's kind of wild. So, yeah. But that's how it works anyway. We just let her down, get some slack, pop your safety cord off, take her out of the loop, crank her back up. Then when you're done with it, just take your bow out, take it out. So, that is a little intro on how this all works out. So, hope that kind of helps some of you guys out a little bit. And the new added feature into this whole shindig. So, yeah, hope that helps you guys out. Hope you guys have some useful information out of some of this. And we'll be around for more. So, stay tuned at Iron Archery Outdoors.